Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. Today, we will be discussing breaking the cycles of mass incarceration and empowering communities post-incarceration. This discussion, two of our IPP ambassadors, Calandra Hulitt and Rogelio Richart, will explore the root cause of mass incarceration, the impact of communities, and innovative strategies for fostering resilience, opportunities for those reentering society. Through this insightful conversation, we aim to highlight the importance of community support, narrative reform, and restorative justice in building a more equitable and inclusive future for all. Today, actually, two of our ambassadors, Illinois Prison Project ambassadors, two of our amazing ambassadors, I would like for them to introduce themselves. Calandra, could you introduce yourself and tell the people about you a little bit?
Sure. Hi, my name is Calandra Hulitt, and it is an honor being here today with you all. I am a proud Illinois Prison Project ambassador, and I have been here as an ambassador for a while now, and I've been enjoying being in this program. And everything that I have learned here, I can't wait to go out and put it into practice and to speak more about this wonderful, wonderful community that we have with each other. And I can't wait to engage into this event today with you all. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. And Roger,
You're welcome.
tell us about yourself.
How's it going, guys? My name is Rogelio Richart Jr., and I'm 13 months removed from a prison cell. My first month home, chance and fate brought me to Mr. Anthony Jones here. And since then, I've been an ambassador for the Illinois Prison Project. I opened up a business over on 51st and Kedzie, Express Auto and Tires. If you guys wish to come and support, you guys can also do that. And just like Calandra, I'm a very, very proud Illinois Prison Project ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon, everyone here. How you doing?
Doing well, man. How's it going, Annabelle?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's good to see you, great ambassadors today.
Doing good.
Yeah, it's great. I will have some questions that I'm gonna spare to you. So I want to, get your honest opinion of these things that we talked about. How do we begin? I'm gonna address this to whichever one wants to touch it first. How do we begin to challenge the internalized beliefs that perpetuates the cycle of incarceration within ourselves and our communities?
I'll be the first to go, Annabelle.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brother Rod.
Because this one is something that deeply affected the outcome and trajectory of my life. We need to begin by confronting the belief that incarceration defines who we are. At 5 years old, my own father was incarcerated, and I didn't get my father back until I was maybe about 11 or 12. I remember being a young man or being a young boy and going over to Division 9. At that time, they had the patio and everybody would be out there. And me and other boys in the community, or when me and my mother would drive past, we would wave up there. And I know that I would wave up there to my own father.
Yeah.
He was up there in Division 9. And I believe that it affected me in a way where I believe that was normal.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just me who had a father who was incarcerated. It was other young kids in the community who had fathers incarcerated. And being that we lived so close, in such close proximity to the county jail, we knew that right next door, our fathers were, but were inaccessible.
Yeah.
They were gone. They were missing. But it planted in me the seed that incarceration was who I was. And that led me to the streets and eventually led to my own incarceration as an adult. But I believe that through mentorship and self-reflection, we can begin to change those internalized beliefs. I believe that if I had more positive role models around me, who's to say? But that's how we start.
And I'm glad you said that, Roger, because even me knowing you, a lot of people may not know that, but Roger is actually a business owner, a successful business owner, and I believe that's one of the ways that you actually begin to challenge that belief just in your actions that I see, by the work that you're doing and the steps that you're doing to, in those generational curses, as I would say. Yeah, thank you for that. Calandra,
Thank you.
you want to chime in on that too?
Absolutely. My upbringing was a bit different. Mine started off like being in the household with a single mom, no male role model present. And it was just to a point my mom dealt with a lot of serious mental illness issues. So instead of me visiting prisons, I visited mental health facilities to go visit my mom. So it's really like painful to see that. But at the same time, I was lost in a lot of different ways as a young woman because I was lacking a stable mom in the household, and I also lacked a father figure in the household as well. So there was a lot of gaps there for me. Okay. My mom, when she was in her right state of mind, it was a lot of times going in and out. It came to a point where I was sheltered. She didn't really want me to do anything. She really didn't want me to go anywhere. So I ended up getting kicked out when I was 16 years old. And that's when I went crazy. I mean, when I say crazy, man, I broke free from her being held down from her strict rules. And I started looking into the street life, and I started just venturing out. And that's when trouble started for me. So that's what I said. I found myself starting to get into a lot of trouble, hanging around the wrong people and looking for love in all the wrong places. I thought I was looking for love, basically. And I realized that in the streets, it all starts from home first. It starts from home first. It starts what we see in our households. It starts from school also, our peers. And the whole thing is we have to get rid of the thinking about, when we see the police, I'm instantly going to get in trouble. We want to be able to start looking into the history of incarceration, how it started. Basically, we need to educate ourselves. That's the bottom line. That's right. And that's how I feel like we can challenge this beliefs about incarceration and about in our communities and about ourselves. I feel like if we can get more positive role models in our communities for our young people, for our children, our nephews, our nieces, if we could start getting these positive role models for our children, like Roger said, it can make a major impact on our children's lives. Because I can be honest with you, I wish I had that. I wish I had somebody to be a big brother and big sister to me at that point in time. And I think right there, once we start educating ourselves about the incarceration past and getting more positive role models, then we're starting to really make a good change in our communities and in our own lives and in our children's lives. Thank you.
Okay, great. That actually brings me, Calandra, you mentioned education. And that actually brings me to the next question that I have for both of you. And I'm going to ask the question, and I'm actually going to pass it to you, Calandra, first. And because you were just talking about the education. Now, because you talk about the importance of education, how important it is. So, how much of a role do you think that plays in breaking the cycle of criminal thinking? And how can we create opportunities for transformative learning?
Okay. When I think about education, I think about opportunity, far advanced opportunity. When I think about education, I think about freedom. I think about elevation. And that's how important education is. Because when you educate yourself, doors begin to open for you. And I've learned through my incarceration, when I was going through my time behind those walls, I did not have time to think about doing anything criminal activity. Because don't think for a chance, just because you're behind those walls, you can't do any other criminal acts. There's things going on in there. You can catch a staff assault and catch fights and anything else. But the whole thing is that once you're focused on your education and you have no other time to focus on being negative, you don't have that time to focus on creating any more criminal habits, because you're going to be so consumed and focused on being better and getting an education that's going to help you thrive throughout your future. You're gonna feel good about yourself once you do that. And as far as transformative learning, gosh, we can continue to offer those programs called, like, I took one, it had given me, they had given it to me, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I can't think of the name of it right now, I'm sorry. But anyway, they had a program that they offered me behind bars, and basically it was a transformative program, and it changed my whole life. And that's what I recommend, that we have more programs out here in our communities to help people like that, because it helped me in a lot of different ways. It changed my way of thinking, and it changed me to want to become a better person, and it helped me to heal and let go of some of my wounds that I was holding on to. It helped me heal those wounds. So thank you.
Yep.
Oh, Roger.
I believe 100% in what everything Calandra said. Education, it expands our minds, bro. And I always tell my son that the difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowing better and doing better. But we can never do better unless we know better. And with education, it allows us to at least get to a point where we know. In schools, I don't remember them ever teaching us financial literacy or teaching us anything that would allow us to prosper beyond, at least in our environments where we were at. Education is a critical part, man, of ending this this cycle.
How can we support individuals in redefining their identities outside of the labels imposed by society, especially those who have been incarcerated?
Support systems, bro. Annabelle, I've been blessed, man, to stay in contact with many people that I was incarcerated with. Many men who've come home and who I've been at least blessed with the opportunity to get to know on a deeper level, man. And we lean on each other. And I believe that through those support systems, it's allowed me to redefine who I am or who I was. Calandra, I'm sure that you yourself, have stood in contact with many people that you were incarcerated with.
Yes.
And being that they know what we went through, we can empathize with each other.
Yes.
And that type of support system, it allows us to grow.
Correct.
Yeah.
When it comes to answering this question, this is all the questions are deep to me, but this one right here touches me in a significant way, because I look back on the fact is, if I didn't have the support that I have now, I would really be in a messed up place, honestly, because having the supports of my fellow inmates, they may say, it really helps me to find strength, and knowing that we have each other back, and that we have built a sacred community, amongst each other. Because it's been times when I first got home from being incarcerated, I didn't even know how to use a computer. I didn't know how to use a phone. And when I first went into the transitional house and they gave me my first cellular phone, I got teased about it, because some of the women there belittled me about it, because they said, you don't even know how to put a SIM card in the phone. And I said, actually, I don't. I said, you got to remember, I did 22 and a half years behind the walls. And it was like, oh gosh, I forgot. you know, and I was like, I felt really bad and ashamed. And I had to remember that, you know, I can't keep beating myself up about what other people think about me and what I didn't know, because I have to be kind to myself, because I have to realize that society alone is going to try to beat me down as much as possible, you know. uh Also, I feel like being in this support system, if we know somebody needs something, we're going to do everything we can to help provide that for them, give them that safe space, help them condition their thinking to unchange and unlearn those times that we went, those hard times we went through behind those walls. And it's very important right now today that we continue to extend that support system to those who are coming out right now today and in the near future. And we will continue to do that because it's needed. Because like Roger said, we do understand what the next man and woman has been through. And not everybody understand that. And we're not beating down the ones that don't. But the whole thing is, please know, everybody, that the more we support each other, the better we'll be.
Yeah.
All right.
And with that being said, look how many of us formerly incarcerated people have come such a long way and
Yeah.
hold all these prestigious titles.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We have a lot of success stories, everybody out there. We have a lot of success stories among each other. And a lot of us has come out and we feel proud about what one another have done and what they're going to do. And even though you might get some no's, it's going to be eventually some yeses. And we feel good about that. And we are continue to extending the olive branch to each other, because like we said, we can't worry about how society say, oh, that was a criminal, that was an inmate, that was a lowlife, that person can't change. Anybody who wants to change can change.
Yep.
And that is the most beautiful part about life, that if you want to do better, you can do better.
Knowing better and doing better.
I just want to that's great. Because when we're talking about supporting individuals, it's redefining themselves. You know, you're going to come out here with those labels as far as in convict, whatever, murderer, rapist, whatever. People are going to do that. But as we support individuals in finding our identities, you know, many of us, have been, stripped of our identities, looked at as a label, looked at as a number, something to be counted like livestock. And just to see now that we're being able to try to find out, in that journey to find out and to rediscover ourselves and who we are. We're gonna have some struggles, and we're gonna have some stumbling blocks, but we, still to encourage one another in finding our self-identities and doing that. So I definitely agree with that. Thank you both for that.
You're welcome.
What strategies can be implemented that you feel, both of you, to dismantle the system structure that we ultimately see that sets people up, individuals as coming, out into society for failure, particularly after, we've served so much time. The system is setting us up toward failure. What things do you think can be implemented to dismantle that system?
That's a question that I feel very, very strongly about too, because it starts from inside. Reentry programs that exist inside are close to none. And people have to be proactive and they have to take initiative, but under those circumstances, the resources are limited. There's only so much that somebody can do to get themselves prepared for society. So it starts in there. The Illinois State Constitution, along with IDOC's own mission statement, states that it's supposed to be a system that promotes rehabilitation. And with rehabilitation, should exist reentry programs. And there are close to none in there. So it starts from in there. It's very hard to prepare from inside as to what to expect outside. And that's why so many people come home and fail, because they come home to a world A, that they do not know, like Calandra just touched on. And B, They just weren't taught the life skills necessary to succeed out there in the world. We just spoke on education, and I missed the opportunity again to say that education should start from in there and be provided by the Illinois Department of Corrections. Because if they were to teach the men back there the skills necessary, the men and women back there, the skills necessary to succeed out here, the integration process would be a lot easier. They kick us out the door and expect us to survive. But if they were to teach us even a simple trade, auto mechanics, construction, carpentry, painting, welding, something that we can bring back into the world and use.
I'm sorry for crying about this, y'all.
Don't be sorry for that. Don't be sorry for that. I mean, that's the trauma that we face. I go through that myself, so that's yeah. We want to look at how do we shift the narrative around formerly incarcerated people, just from one of perpetual punishment to one of potential and contribution. How do we change that narrative?
The success stories. There are so many of us, like I said, formerly incarcerated people who come out here have succeeded, man. Eddie Bocanegra, you, Annabelle, Ronaldo, Jaco, me. I mean, I've been home 13 months now. And my business is doing well. And like I said, I employ people who come from my background, people who've gone through my experiences. And that's how we do it, right?
Yeah, we do it.
We broadcast our success stories.
Yes.
Let the men and women coming home knowing that if we can do it, they can do it too.
Yes.
And that they have us here.
Right.
If they need us. They have us here.
I'm glad you said that, Roger, because I was actually having a conversation one day with someone about as much negative things that they say about someone they'll broadcast it all over the news. Someone was released from prison, or they were on parole, or they were released, and they actually reoffended. And you put so much, but as you said, the Ronaldo Hudson stories, the Yaakov Delaney stories, the Marshawn Allen stories, you don't hear those.
The Anthony Jones story.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But we don't hear those. I wish, we need to do is come up with, a podcast possibly.
Yes.
To talk about those positive stories about people that have re-entered into society. Matter of fact, I said it first. I might do that first. So, but we definitely want to have something to highlight those stories, those successes, because just as you, Roger, you employ people, and you said you employ people with your background. So you're showing not only the people that you employ that you're willing to give them a chance, and you're trusting and believing them because you can experience you experience what they experience, but also you're showing the community at large that just as I invested in these people and they showed me that they're successful and they're capable of rehabilitation, you should also take a chance on them as well and hire them. So you're doing a lot for your community, and I commend you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And I promised myself, Annabelle, that no matter how successful I do become, that I will never leave the communities in which I came from.
Right.
So many people become successful when they leave.
Yeah.
And there's no lasting impression on the success story that they accomplished, that they achieved, because they're gone. But I want the community, and I want every young man that lives in that community to know that if I can do it, they can do it. And so many times, Annabelle, just the other day, and I won't say this brother's name, but it's a brother who did time in prison, who comes from he comes exactly from my background and knows about our experiences and everything like that, came in with his 13-year-old son. And his 13-year-old son is following in the same footsteps that I myself followed in my father's, and now this young man is following in his father's, and he's 13 years old, and he's lost. And this good friend of mine, he brought him in, and he told me, man, talk to my son, bro. Let him know that, people like you exist, and there is alternative routes, and you can stay here in these communities and still be successful and still contribute and still help. And to me, that meant a lot to me to know that he trusted in me enough to bring me his own son, to have a conversation with his own son. And that one of the first people that he thought about when it came to saving his baby was me. And to me, that it stood with me, bro, because it makes me remember that I'm somebody that people admire and respect in that community. I'm somebody who's contributing. And
yeah, you're setting a positive role model. You're a positive role model for him, positive example.
And still to this day, I invite every single young man in the community to come to my shop if they choose to, and sit around and learn. Because with that skill set, it stays with them. If they learn to fix cars, they can go and open up the garage door right in their alley and fix cars and make a living for themselves there. I just had a young kid who spent his whole summer vacation with me.
Wow.
It kind of hurt me when school started back up because he left, and we grew to love him a lot. And I know that young man, that experience with that summer vacation, he's going into his senior year. He had to stop because he was going into his senior year. I know that that's going to stay with him forever. He came to my shop and told me that he wanted it to be a mechanic, and all he wanted to do was help. He'll pick up a broom every day, and he just wanted to be around. And I gave him the opportunity, and he came every single day at 8 a.m. and left every single night at 6 p.m., just like the rest of us. And I bought him a little uniform, and he's still with me. But I know that young man is somebody potentially that I saved from the streets. Who's to say how he would have spent that summer if he didn't spend this last summer with me?
That's right.
Hey, Roger, you inspired me so much, man. I'm just commend you.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, I want to know, could a 52-year-old be your apprentice at your shop?
I have a 32-year-old apprentice. She's a young woman named Calandra. So there's no age limit. That's what I'm saying. There's no stipulation. This young man just happened to be 17, but there is none, man. This is an open door, especially for those formerly incarcerated people.
That's right.
Give us the address to your shop.
I'll get 5101, 5101 South Kedzie Avenue.
And what's the name of it?
Express Auto and Tires. I'm on 51st and Kedzie.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
We're working on the second shop opening. Congrats.
Like I said, at some point in time, and I spoke about this with you guys before, at some point in time, I do want to start a reentry program. Going back to education, a reentry program on this side of the wall, even though it's supposed to be given on the other side.
Yeah.
Calandra, I want to get to you. In your experience, what are the key factors that enable someone to break free from the cycles of incarceration and reintegration successfully into society? Hold on, let me.
Successes.
I messed up. Hold on, I messed up the last part. All right, Calandra, I want to ask you, in your own personal experience, what are the key factors that enable someone to break free from the cycles of incarceration and reintegrate successfully into society? What do you think?
From my personal experience, I'm going to speak on me. I can't, it wouldn't be fair to speak on every individual because I couldn't. But for me, what helped me reintegrate into society is pushing past my fears. Because literally, when I got home from doing all that time in prison, and I got into that transitional home, I was scared to go outside because the world has changed so much. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what I was walking into. The unknown is scary. Everybody knows that. And so I had to push past my fears because my counselor in the transitional house told me, and it's funny because she was taking me everywhere. She was taking me to go here, taking me to go there. So this one particular day, she said, well, you're going to have to go get your state ID. I said, are you going to take me? She was like, no. She was like, you're going to have to get on the public transportation. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that. She took my hand. She said, sweetheart, you ready? She said, I'm gonna give you access to Google Maps. And she said, I'm going to make sure that you feel comfortable and get where you need to go. And I said, oh, I'm not ready. She gave me her hand again and tightened and squeezed. She said, you're ready. So guess what I did? I took that leap of faith, took that paper. And even though I was afraid, I walked by faith and I went and got my state ID. It didn't go away just like that. But the more I did it, and I went out, and I went to the curtain exchange, and I went to the restaurant, and I went to the store, that fear went away. And that's the key. By not allowing your fear to hold you back from anything in life, whether you were incarcerated, whether you was in a special ed class, no matter what you went through in your life, what they said to you when you were a child, you ain't gonna be none. You ain't on a mountain none. You gonna be like your daddy. You gonna be like your no good mama. Whatever they said to you, don't let that fear and that discouragement hold you back from doing anything. Because even though I was incarcerated, I still excelled. I thrived. I became better. And that is the key. Keep pushing yourself to be better. Keep improving. And that is how you're going to get your change that you need to be positive, to get those positive vibes. That's how you get them. That's the key. Having that grit. Don't give up. Stay persistent.
I appreciate that. That's great. Man, I want to first I want to thank both you amazing ambassadors for being a part of this
Thank you.
Lunch and Learn. With that, another amazing Lunch and Learn has come to an end. Thank you to everyone who spent their lunch with us today.
Thank you.
If you would like to learn more about our work and resources, please visit our website. Specifically related to today's discussion, check out the information on our first 14-day handbook, which is a deep dive into key things someone returning home would need to know within the first 14 days of their release. If you have a legal question of your own, please sign up for our bi-monthly legal clinic. With that being said, thank you. Thank you for today. All right.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.